My name is Ray, and my partner name is Jay, and we are land investors. In less than 3 years, the land business has changed our lives in ways we can only imagine. We want to show you how to do the same exact thing we did to change our family's future forever, just as you can for yours. Peace and love, family.
What's up, y'all?
Welcome to another episode of Acres and Move Makers.
Real
My
talk.
name is Ray.
My name is Jay.
And you know who we are.
The Acre Boyzz.
So, we want to bring y'all up to speed. A lot has transpired.
We've been going a long time. We're going a minute, about 4 months now.
About 4 months.
4 months, yeah.
Over the last 4 months, a lot of things has happened.
That has happened, right?
In particular, the tour. The high-level tour.
For sure.
The tour with 19 Keys, which featured 19 Keys, the Acre Boyzz, predominantly every stop we was on, every stop of that tour. So we just wanted to, let's just give you the whole behind the scenes story of how we even came into contact with 19 Keys and how we're gonna go over what happened at the first stop of the tour, which was the infamous Apollo Theater.
Sold out Apollo Theater, by the way. Sold out Apollo Theater. So, I mean, just to track it back a little bit, man, we can go back months, probably 6-7 months before the actual show. We met him through some mutual friends that were business partners with him. We were, I think the first place we went was Los Angeles. We went out there, met him for the first time, cool, solid guy, you know what I mean? Met him for the first time. That's when he came into actually knowing what exactly we do as far as, just dealing with the land or whatever the case may be. It took a couple of more touches after that in order to get comfortable, just going through the regular rigmarole of just getting to know somebody, you know what I mean, when you first get involved as far as a relationship that you're going to have. So, we did that for a little while, and this is going over, I'm going to say over 4, 5, 6 months, whatever the case may be. Then one day, we're sitting back in LA, again, been to Houston, Dallas, all different kind of places. We're sitting in a restaurant in LA.
Stop. I gotta stop.
Okay.
I gotta stop the brother, right? Because he fast tracking this story, and it's some key points in there, right? One that sticks out to me is you gotta always be aiming upward, right? You always have to be looking to get on somebody's radar that can help you move you up from where you at and pull you up the ladder. Did we know that would be 19 Keys? Absolutely not. But what it took for us to get on his radar was actually physically leaving and actually going. So you talking about, for me, that was my first time even going to LA. And when we got invited to go to LA, we didn't really have a solid game plan. But we did know that if you wasn't there, we always said, you miss 1,000% of the shots that you don't take.
Real talk. And if you wasn't there, you wasn't there.
And if you wasn't there, you wouldn't have stood a chance at none of these things that you guys have had the chance to witness would have never manifested and came to life. So that's a key right there. You have to get involved. You have to get in the room.
You gotta get in the room. Yeah,
whatever that takes. For us, it took us going out on a whim, going across the country. It was my first trip to LA. And the backstory to that is when we got there, I'm like, I don't even know why we're really here.
For sure. But then again, this is like what we always say, right? Every step of the way, you're not going to understand, you know what I mean? Every step of the way. You're not going to, because most of this stuff is above your understanding. But you know that whatever you're doing, whatever line that you're following, is that is meant for you to actually follow that line and just keep on going. You're never going to understand it in the beginning. But at the end, like Steve Jobs said, he said, you can never trace the dots going forward. You can only trace them going back. And you'll see strategically when those dots start to connect, right, that everything that you did that you didn't even know that you were doing at the time was responsible for you getting that end result. So
we get to LA, we meet Keys for the first time. We were doing a content day. And I have to be honest, my background is I come from the music world, so I've been around some speakers, right? And my first encounter with him was a content day that probably lasted like 7 hours, and I was very impressed. Like
Work ethic, crazy.
work ethic, crazy. The brother did like 7 hours with really not any like mistakes. You know, when people are doing content, there's always hold on. Let me try that again. Hold on. Let's try that again. Rewind that back.
Right.
None of that.
None of that, for sure.
He was just going through the content, boom, boom, knocking them out, one piece after another, one piece, and I was like, wow, this okay. And
now keep in mind, this is at a time where me, myself, I'm unfamiliar with content, period. Unfamiliar with how it's done, how it's laid out, or whatever the case may be. That was one of my first times actually seeing somebody step into a space and just start knocking it out. Bang, 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 bang. So it was just amazing to see somebody just knock it out. And you can tell he's been doing it for a long time. Super confident, displaying his words. Everything is done with passion and fire. So you definitely see all of that exuding from him, that's for sure.
so that was our first encounter. So we come back home, and maybe a month later, what was next? Did we
Went to
a BWO?
Atlanta. That was
Atlanta.
A
It was a
event.
BWO event. We get invited to come to the BWO inauguration in Atlanta. At the BWO inauguration, we were supposed to represent the side of BWO that will be offering land to the program, land investing to the program. So we got introduced as the land specialist for BWO, and that's when the program, the first inductees came from BWO, from that Atlanta inauguration. And that's what kind of started to tie us in together at that point. Keep in mind, this is a new relationship. So that went very well. We picked up our first few mentees or investors from BWO from that event.
But one thing though, that was the first time that we actually spoke out in front of people, like dealing with land, as far as the land is concerned. That's the first time we actually spoke.
As the Acre Boyzz. That was the first time that we spoke as the Acre Boyzz on a public forum.
Yeah, public platform, that's for sure. That's for sure. And that was an interesting experience, because when you're going through all of these different things, right? When you're going through these emotions, whatever the case may be, definitely not his first time. He did other things like music and all that other kind of stuff. But me, myself, my first time like speaking actually out there in the open, just to seeing a lot of things moving through my body. Are people receptive? Am I delivering this word right? And to be honest, before we went there, I thought in my mind, and I think a little bit he did too, I thought in my mind that we was rehearsing and had all this stuff written down on the paper. You get there and go blank. None of that stuff is going to work.
Nothing that you have rehearsed.
Nothing that you have nothing that you have rehearsed. You go blank automatically. So we had enough to actually keep on going and do what we need to do to deliver the message, and that was the point. So clearly after that point, your rehearsal has to be something completely different than what we knew at that time, the time of inception, for sure.
Well, you need a foundation to tweak.
For sure.
Like
For
we're
sure.
into tweaking.
Definitely.
Our presentation and our representation of what we put out there to public. So that was a good ground to tweak. That gave us something to look at and say, all right, let's make the corrections from this point on. Because it was always predicted that we'll be somewhere speaking about land investing, but we never knew where or how it would show itself.
That's right.
So fast forward, we go from LA to Atlanta. Couple of months later, maybe 2 months later, we go to Houston to another BWO event,
Right.
just to show up, show face, be in support of the movement.
Sure.
When you getting on people's radar, touch, these key points.
Tap.
For one, it says that you're serious about what you're doing.
Real talk.
And you're serious about building this bridge and this relationship. That's what it says when people keep showing up. So we knew that there still was no sound plan in place to what we would be able to do with each other. We just, this was still happening. This was still coming about.
Right.
But the key thing is, go. You have to go. So you heard that we said just now, we took 3 trips. We didn't get paid for these 3 trips. We took 3 trips, took our own money just to better ourselves, just to go higher.
Just to go up.
Just to go up. So this is what it takes, right? People just see now, all you see is the end result, Acre Boyzz. You don't see what it took to get to this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Houston was another stop that we had to make to get to this point. And you come back home, still you're not sure what just happened in Houston. It
You know,
feels like
something happened.
you
just
know
don't know
something
what
happened,
Right.
but it's not a clear.
Right.
It's not clear to where we stand with all of this.
Right.
So we have to go back to LA now. 4th trip. Now we go back to LA. Let's see what we can put together. So now we in LA with our guys, Chico,
That's right.
and I think did EYL have
They were
an event?
they were there. They were. Oh yeah, it was the they had the Market Mondays.
The Market Mondays
in LA. Yeah,
in LA. We
sure,
go to the
sure.
Market Mondays, the EYL event, right? So now, by now, Keys know who we are. So when we see each other, it's all love. My guys, Acre Boyzz, what up?
Right.
We know, who runs with Keys. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Mechi. Now everybody's a little more familiar with us, but we're still the new guys in this space, right? So we're not totally comfortable, but we're there again.
In the building.
Right? In the building again. So Market Mondays, we go backstage. We meet EYL. Keys is back there. A bunch of other people is back there. Well-off people. So that's another touch. Touch. Tap. And the following day, we all link up at a restaurant. I don't remember
Yeah, I
what the
forgot the name. It
restaurant
was a fly
was.
spot too. I remember it. Yeah.
Keys is at another spot. EYL is at another spot. My guy's cheat code is contacting EYL to say, yo, where y'all at?
Right.
I want to link up with you. And they were at one restaurant. Keys is at one restaurant. They call Keys and say, well, we're going there. Keys pull up to that restaurant. Now we all in the restaurant. This is exclusive. Nobody knows this. You had to be there to know these type of things.
Yeah.
So EYL is at a table eating. We meet them for the first time. And we're at the table behind them. Keys walks in. Keys sits down with us. We chop it up for a minute. And he says, yo, so what's going on with the land? I don't know. At the time, we do a lot of deals. Y'all know that.
Right.
I don't know what deals we had going on at the time. So we put a deal in front of them and say, hey, we have this deal going on. These are the numbers on the deal. If you want in on the deal, when we say want in on the deal, you can partner with us. You heard us advertise that. You can be a funder, right? You can be a funder on the deal. So we put that in front of him. He was like, oh, wow, numbers is good. And he pauses and he says, I'm putting a tour together. I'm going to take y'all on a tour. And it's like, okay. My first reaction was,
Right.
okay. Then it was like, is he serious? Well, I don't think he would say it. He's not the type of brother that would just pump fake because he don't have to do anything for us.
Real talk.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I say, well, I don't know what it entails just yet, but we're on board. We flew from LA to Atlanta to Houston, back to LA. So we're in too deep to stop, even if we wanted to stop, right? So he starts talking about the tour, and we say, well, what would that entail? Would that be, we hit a spot or two, or a city or a town or two with you? And he's like, nah, the whole tour. We run it like that. We working out. He's brainstorming on the spot. We work it out. I give y'all 10, 15 minutes. Come do y'all thing and tell about what y'all do, and hit every stop. Cool. I'm in. You in?
Yeah, for sure. I'm in. And I'm in. Like, you don't know at this point in time. It's like it's all new information, so you just process and like, okay, we're going go on tour. Okay, this is like this is what this will always be saying when he was saying about getting in the room and getting to a specific place, right? Because if you wouldn't have been there, maybe that conversation wouldn't have been had. You know what I mean? So this is the power of just being there and just showing up, because things just happen, especially when you're in the right company. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So that was how we got on the tour. You hearing this? This is true story, all behind the scene things. That's how Acre Boyzz came into contact with 19 Keys. That's how this relationship started. We're gonna come back with a part two.
Part two for sure. Definitely
Talk
a part
about
two.
to y'all
When we got to the actual Apollo,
Yeah, when the tour was revving up.
Yeah, for sure.
Apollo first stop. We'll talk about that when we come back.
In full detail with everything, behind the scene, nervousness, all that. You about to go in front of 2,500 people and go ahead and just go. For somebody that has never been on a stage in that capacity before, he has, but I haven't. There's definitely some altering things going on inside your stomach. That's a fact.
So y'all stay tuned, man. Like, share, subscribe to this
Comment,
video.
all that. We're
going to come back and we'll talk about High Level Tour in the Apollo Theater.
Part 2 on the way. So you know the tagline, y'all. Invest in dirt.
It's a clean way to make money.
Let's go, y'all.
It's acres and move makers. It's acres and move makers.